Hi, my name is Arif Amaluddin bin Abdul Razak.
My name is Nazirul Mubin bin Muhammad Ali.
Hello, my name is Nurul Atika binti Muhammad Azrai Siddiq.
My name is Muhammad Zaiman Fahmi Ali.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Qaiskadar bin Adizan and we are from class JBA 1145H. Thank you to Encik Samsul Samsudin for spending time to be our panel. For the company analysis report, we have analyzed and choose IOI Corporation Berhad. IOI Corporation is a leading global integrated and sustainable palm oil producer. This company is listed on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad and trading as MYX 1961. IOI Corporation operations include plantation business, which is mainly in Malaysia and Indonesia. Besides, this company also do other activities including refining palm oils, manufacturing of oleochemical and property development.
And today I would like to present about financial analysis, consists of balance sheet and income statement. First we go to the company's profile. IOI Corporation Berhad, commonly referred as IOI, was incorporated in 31st October 1969 as Industrial Oxygen Incorporated Sdn Berhad. It then ventured into property development in 1984 and then followed by oil palm plantation and refineries in 1985. IOI also listed in KLSE, which is now known as Bursa Malaysia, in 1980. The group was headed by Lee Sin Chen, the executive chairman, until his death, and now Lee Yu Cho is the CEO of the company. In September of 2016, IOI Group has employed more than 30,000 persons from more than 25 countries. IOI core businesses are palm oil plantations, real estate, oleochemicals, and specialty fats and refineries. Okay, now we go to the income statement. From this income statement, it's shown that financial year in 2020, 30 June ended. IOI Group has created a huge number of revenue of what has been shown in this income statement, which is the revenue is RM7,802,000. Additionally, the operating income for IOI Group is at RM675 million, and it is an income that are not related to the principal activities of the company, such as amortization. Furthermore, other operating expenses are included with total up for all operating expenses, which is at RM852 million. The profit before profit and taxation are at RM1,137,000, which consists of interest income at 668.2 million, and it is a total of short-term funds, short-term deposit, subsidiaries and others. The interest income is recognized in profit or loss as it accrues unless recoverability is in doubt, in which case it is recognized as receipt basis. Other than that, the finance cost also included, which consists of all interest expenses, profit payment on Islamic financing, and total finance cost. Other than that, profit before taxation are at RM826 million. Therefore, in order to get net profit for the financial year, the company need to minus the taxation, which include taxation for current year at RM225 million and others taxation all been calculated. Okay, now we go to the balance sheet. All items of property, plant and equipment, excluding right of use assets, are initially measured at cost. After initial recognition, property, plant and equipment, excluding right of use assets, are stated at cost less accumulated depreciation and accumulated impairment losses. Bearer plants are living plants that are used in the production or supply of agriculture produce for more than one period and have remote likelihood of being sold as agriculture produce, except for incidental scrap sales. Cost includes plantation expenditure, which represents the total cost incurred from land clearing to the point of harvesting. Bearer plants also have an average life cycle of 25 years, with the first 3 years as immature bearer plants. But last but not least is the income statement for equity and liabilities. The share capital is issued and fully paid up, and the owners of the parent are entitled to receive dividends as declared from time to time, and are entitled to 1 vote per ordinary share at the meetings of the company. All ordinary shares are ranked equally with regard to the company's residual assets, and the total share capital is at RM 790 million, and the number of shares is 6 million issued and fully paid up ordinary shares. The treasury shares at the end of the financial year is at 668 million. I think that's all from me as the financial analysis.
For this slide, I will present about ratio analysis and comparative analysis between IOI Corporation and between FGV Holdings. So about the ratio analysis, there are 5 ratio analysis, which is liquidity, activity, leverage, profitability and market ratio for this company. As in the slide shown given, liquidity ratio is not really good because the ratio in the year 2020 is lower compared to the year 2019. As for the activity ratio, fixed asset turnover and total asset turnover shows a good ratio in the year 2020 compared to the year 2019. But for the inventory turnover and average collection period, it shows in poor condition between the year 2020 and 2019. Then for the leverage ratio, the table shows that company debt ratio is poor, while debt equity ratio and time interest earned is good compared to the previous year, so that IOI company able to pay its interest payment even they have higher debt. Next is profitability ratio. Profitability ratio is to measure the combined effect of liquidity, asset management and debt management on overall operating result of the firm. For overall in this ratio, the company is in poor condition and able to generate only a few profit in the year 2020. Lastly is the market ratio. Market ratio are used to evaluate the current share price of a publicly held company stock. For the market ratio of IOI Corporation, it shows a good condition because all element in this ratio is higher than in the year 2019 except for earning per share. For the next slide, I will talk about comparative analysis between IOI Corporation and FGV Holdings. The first bar chart shows about the liquidity ratio between the two companies. As we can see, IOI Corporation have better performance in current ratio and quick ratio. It means that IOI Corporation is more effective in managing their short-term obligation and has higher liquidity as they can quickly convert their asset to cover liability. Referring to the bar chart above, IOI Corporation is better in terms of liquidity as they have higher ratio than FGV Holding in both current ratio and quick ratio. For the second table, it shows the activity ratio in the year 2019. It shows that FGV Holdings has a higher inventory turnover ratio, which is 8.28 times compared to IOI Corporation, which is slightly lower with recorded inventory turnover of 7.98 times. The total asset turnover ratio for companies FGV Holding is 0.75 times, while IOI Corporation is only 0.45 times, which is lower than FGV Holdings. As for the leverage ratio chart, FGV is still better than IOI Corporation because the debt equity ratio for FGV is lower than IOI Corporation. In addition, time interest earned for IOI also poor than FGV, which means that FGV Holdings has higher capability and lower risk of default. Next is profitability ratio. The chart shows a good comparative bar chart for IOI than FGV Holdings. Thus, IOI Corporation is able to generate more profit on the operation and investment while able to give higher return on equity and return on asset. For the last comparative, FGV Holdings has higher price earning ratio and dividend payout ratio, which is 49.14% and 83.96% compared to IOI Corporation, which is 42.28% and 79.60% respectively. As we can see in the last chart, IOI Corporation have higher and better bar chart between FGV Holdings for earning per share, dividend per share and book value per share. To conclude that, many investors will be more interest to pay for IOI Corporation because it has more profit.
I will continue by presenting my part, which is risk and return and regression. So risk and return basically is conducted to estimate and evaluate the risk and return of the companies with the market indicator. For easy to understand, risk and return is the purpose to initiate a security market line, as it is to know the value of the company and their position in the market line. So based on the table here, we might see the expected return for IOI Corporation is 0.0273%, while KL Kepong is 0.0361%, and it shows that the KL Kepong get more higher expected return than IOI Corporation. Next, we see the standard derivation is to measure of dispersion of a set of data from its mean. The table shows that IOI Corporation consists 2.2904, while KL Kepong get 2.2577. But for the coefficient of variation, IOI Corporation get more higher than KL Kepong, which they get 55.4756%, while KL Kepong Berhad get 44.0287%. Move to the next slide. I will explain what is regression. Regression analysis is a statistical process for estimating relationship between a dependent variable and one or more variable. Regression analysis is also a statistical technique for estimating the relationship between those variables. Regression analysis consists several variables to calculate the simple regression between two data, which is correlation of covariance, coefficient of determination, beta and alpha. Based on the screen, I am representing the simple regression between IOI Corporation and KLCI. To calculate the correlation of R and the coefficient of determination R squared, we have to use all the variables that I described on the slide before. So final, after we calculate all the data by using Excel, we found out that the total of R and the R squared for IOI Corporation and KLCI. For coefficient of correlation, it gets 0.0372%, and for coefficient of determination is 1.3838%. Next, it's same with the previous slide. We use the same technique to calculate the coefficient of correlation and coefficient of determination between KL Kepong and KLCI. For KL Kepong and KLCI, they consist 0.0457 for the R and 2.0885 for the R squared. Lastly, this graph is represent the security market line, or it is called as SML line. This graph presents the risk-free rate RFR line, and this is a function to see the relationship between risk and return for both companies. The expected return for IOI Corporation by using beta 0.7278 is 3.58%. Meanwhile, for KL Kepong using beta 0.708 is 3.56%. To conclude, we might say that both companies is undervalued based on the calculation and the graph, which the line is above the SML line. Both stocks suitable for the risk, and IOI Corporation has higher risk than KL Kepong.
So about the technical analysis. Technical analysis is one of the most popular techniques used in the study system. The comparative analysis. On diagram 1 and 2, we have determined both performance of both stocks, market of Polymer Composite Index KLCI and IOI Corporation Berhad in year of 2020. Both are showing the same pattern, but the difference here is the trend line both company from August 2020 until November 2020. Kuala Lumpur Composite Index (KLCI), trendline is sideways, and for IOI Corporations, Berhad is uptrend. IOI Corporation saw an uptrend in the beginning of October and keep on maintaining their pattern. On the trend analysis, there are three types of trend, which is one is main trend, second is secondary trend, and third is minor trend. So I want to talk about the main trend. Based on the charts, the trend line that have been identified started from April 2018 until December 2020, as it shows an uptrend pattern in the market. The main trend line is a line drawn over pivot high or under pivot low to show the prevailing directions of price. The main trend lines also act as a visual representation of support and resistance in the time frame between these 3 years charts. The main trend line on the chart above or on the charts shown on the presentations also act to reflect the channel line as in the chart is a bullish as it lines extends down. For these 3 years charts, there are 3 bounce back of resistance becoming a support, which is RBS that have been identified on the chart. First RBS that have been identified earlier are at December 2018 until March 2019. Prices broke at this level, then turned to it before continuing the downtrend. To add more, on June 2019 until July 2019, the upward directions of the economic security price indicates its resistance will be coming another support as it goes uptrend and downtrend after achieve its breaking point at its resistance level and then turn into support, and it marks another phenomena of resistance becoming support. Let's identify RBS, which is RBS 3 that occurs on October 2020 until November 2020 as it breaks its price at RM4.60 from its uptrend movement at RM4.40 and its price bounce back into becoming a RM4.40 and set support level. The second types of trend analysis is secondary trends. There are 3 secondary trends that can be seen in the diagram, which are in the blue box. The secondary trends happen when the movement of the security moves towards the opposite of primary trend. The first secondary trend starts from January until May 2019, which shows a downtrend movement of the secondary trend. It shows a bearish movement as the price moves downwards. Last type of the trend lines analysis is minor trends. Minor trends on the chart above has shown a few numbers of minor trends that have been identified on the 3 years time frame from 2018 to 2020. Minor trends also called as a short-term trends as it occurs less than a month and is part of main trend line and secondary trend line. Based on the chart above, the minor trend I have been identified on December 2019. On that day, the price movement in the charts was moving uptrend 430 until it achieved its peak at 480 before entering November 2019. The second minor trend is at March 2020. The price movement in the charts was moving uptrend from RM4 until it achieved its low on RM3.40 before entering the April 2019. The price trend moves drastically down the slope as it keeps moving downwards after the COVID-19 pandemic disease struck the market on early February and it affected the price on March market. The pandemic gives a significant impact on supply, demand, and prices of the palm oil industries. This quarter is the worst in the entire 3 years but still managed to bounce back at a higher price on April. So on the last minor trend, which is the third minor trend, is at May 2020. The price movement in the chart was moving uptrend from RM3.80 until it achieved its peak at RM4.60 per share before entering June 2019.
Moving to the indicators, let's start with simple moving average for IOI Corporation from July 2020 until December 2020. As we can see, there are 2 blue circles The first one shows a sell signal as there are crosses between the average line with the 21 period line move down while 60 period line move up. The second circle show a buy signal because the 21 period and 60 period line move on the opposite, which show a cross for buy signal. Next, the moving average convergence divergence only show a buy signal in the early of November as the MACD line crosses below zero of the MACD chart. Next, let's move to the relative strength index. It also shows only sell signal in the end of November, shown in the RSI chart at the bottom of the diagram with the RSI lines move above 70% range of the RSI. For the rate of change, there are two signals that has been highlighted. The first one is buy signal, which is marked as the ROC lines are below zero of the ROC charts, while the second signal, which is a sell signal, it is because of the ROC line move above zero of the chart. Lastly, the stochastic oscillator shows several signals which can be seen marked by green arrow and red arrow or circles. The red color represents sell signals, while the green represent buy signal. For the sell signal, it happens when the price is overbought or the STO line move above 80% of its maximum range that can be seen in the red circle. On the other hand, the buy signal is because of the stock that were oversold by the stockholder, or the STO lines move below the 20% range, which can be seen in the green circle. Referring to all of the charts, there are several current signals that can be used by investors to do their trading on this company. For simple moving average, it shows a sell signal, which means current investor should sell the stocks, while moving average convergence divergence show a hold signal and current investor should hold the stock to sell. Next, the relative strength index show a sell signal and current investor should sell when the price going high. Moving to rate of change, it shows a sell signal, which means current investor should sell the stocks. On the other hand, stochastic oscillator show a buy signal for the stocks and current investor needs to hold the stock to sell at a higher price. Most of the indicators shows a sell signal for current investor, and for future investor, they need to hold the decision to buy.
The conclusions and the recommendations. We believe that RI corporations perhaps will do better in the previous year and the next year, and will achieve more profit and sales in the few months of 2021. We recommend and encourage all investors in Malaysia or from other countries to buy RI corporations Berhad stocks because we have that proof that this company will guarantee a better profit and have a bright future ahead. So, on the recommendations, in order to increase investor chances of making a successful guess, instruments and instructions are used. Since we cannot see it, we do not know what is really going on in the future by studying stats and other pricing. It is however that a deeper insight into the existence and actions of the market will lead to the better decisions. Such trade decisions will involve policies including the price levels to get on the market and what price levels to initiate, which is the advantage at what price level. We therefore have some justifications for either buy, sell or hold the stocks to make decisions.